Merrick Wong. So with Merrick, let's see if Merrick wrote something. Uh, so Merrick right now is stuck in job applications. Ooh, Bohemian, that's a great idea. I would love to do that. But yes, Merrick Wong. Let's check out your portfolio. So if I do all, we can just have everything in here. So right now, when I look at your portfolio, I'm like, okay, definitely environment artist, junior environment artist. Um, I guess you say junior environment artist just because, like, I don't know if you're actually employed yet, but let's look at some of your stuff. So this one's 5 months ago. Whoa, wait, what? Are these in different order? Hang on. Or did you just start posting things? So vintage scene. Okay, no, this is 2 years ago. Okay. So yeah, so you've got your old projects and new projects. So if we look at your old projects real quick, we won't stick on this for too long. Of course, like, yeah, we got some unique baking, unique texture pass, multiple roughness. Oh, okay, wait a minute. No, I see what I'm looking at now. Oh man, yeah, this is 2 years ago. Let's let's scoot forward a little bit and just see how you progressed. So a common mistake people will make early on is they add a lot of information to their normals. So that strength goes a little too much, right? And then you see the text here, maybe a little too large. But if we look at the reference, it's probably pretty accurate. If we look at the torn lantern, see this asset's looking pretty nice. So this is last year. So it looks like you're doing unique. You're doing some sculpting and some unique baking. And I think when I look at this, where I'm seeing the weakness is mainly in the roughness variation. Like the glass is really clean, right? Getting some roughness along the edges to kind of dirty it up. Like that's something that could be improved. And then let's see if I can get to the. So when you look at your gloss, you're using your gloss in a strange way where it's kind of like ambient occlusion. So these are like the most rough is in here, which I guess you could say is kind of like a dust pass. But let's jump into your new project stuff and see like where you're at. So this project's 5 months ago. Also, I want to say that this is quite interesting how you're doing this. So you've got your scene and all of your breakdowns as separate posts for your new project. So your new project is broken down just front and center, which is really interesting. I don't think I've actually seen it done like this before. When you scroll through these, this is really nice modeling. The material work looks pretty good as well. I think I like Sketchfab more than the Marmoset viewer, just because it's a little bit more up to date on like what it can display for you. Marmoset still is a very good baker though. and a texturing tool now as well. I haven't used it for texturing yet. So when we go and we look at this view, and you look at your gloss here, there's some variation between them. If we look at like reflectivity, this is quite interesting that it would be colored like this, but then again, I'm not too familiar with, like, you're basically coloring your specular when we look at it. You've got glass containers as well. There's a nice variety of materials and surfaces here. Let me see what this looks like here with the gloss, because I feel like there could be more range in your gloss. But yeah, let's look at the wireframe actually. So to me, the wireframe, other than like, I mean, I don't know how, like this top area could be a little lower poly. I think these bevels maybe could be a little wider, just because you're viewing it from a distance like this. But it's not immediately strange to me that you have this amount of geometry on your assets, because like you're actually, I would ask you why this loop's here, but you're actually using it. You can see that it's lifted here, so it's affecting your silhouette in a way that kind of breaks like weird straight lines that you can get in assets. And there's a nice organicness to the cardboard down here. Let's see what else we got going on here. That is a weak looking fan. Like, I don't, does that actually push wind around at all, or air? So this breakdown, this post seems a little strange to me, because I want to see some texture flats, and like see what your roughness looks like. But with me, man, with me it's all roughness. I just want to see, like, see, to me this metal feels, fan skipped arm day. For me, this metal feels strange, and I'm like, why does it feel that way? Again, like the poly count here is maybe a little low, but I think it might all be in context of like, dude, if you're putting that much geometry into this chord, you can definitely add geo to this. Oh, this is cool. So you have a really nice selection of assets. This paper, people always get paper done in a strange way. Like, you kind of want paper normal information, right? And then you want to be able to uh, tile that heavily, and then you have these creased normals. So you'd have two normals on this paper. It was like a detail normal for the paper fiber, and then a detail, and then a main normal for like where the creases are at. And then I guess maybe the text could be a little bit more faded, just to feel more grounded. It's feeling pretty good here, but I think it's the roughness. Like, these almost feel like plastic. This is nice. That's disturbingly natural. I think you may have taken a picture of some paper to do that. Lovely cup too. Oh yeah, so see, the reason I like this piece is the range in your roughness. You have this surface here, which feels a little odd to me. I'm not sure what type of surface this is, but seeing the range difference between this one, you've got a metal here, you got some plastics, some paper. There's a lot happening. Oh wow, this is cool too. And let's just see, what's going on here. Come on, viewer, you got this. I believe in you. Yes, it's nice the detail that you have with the scratches. I don't know if you need normal information on it. It's just like a roughness difference, and maybe exposing the metal in your like metalness map, right? So if we go to like your gloss, you can see that's where the metal is exposed. And then we've got, you can see the range, right? Paper is pretty dark. Ooh, I love this, the gradient in your gloss. That's super nice. And getting, even if there was slight value shifts between all of these, that would, to me, that would show me your attention to like micro detail. If each one of these was just a little bit different in your gloss, that'd be sick. Again, I'm not too familiar with glossy. Your metals here, like there's some gradient stuff going on here. I would just make these like pretty bright because metal tends to be quite bright. Like it's definitely brighter than this. It's probably closer to this. Even here. Evening Polygon, how you doing? But let's check out the cigarette dispenser type thing. Well, not dispenser, the cigarette holder. Gonna take a bit to load here. I'm guessing there's a lot of textures in this. Come on, you got this. There you go. See, this is an opportunity for some of these to be wrapped in plastic and some to not be. Like if we go in here and we look at your gloss, all of them are pretty similar, right? And I think separating out the brands and then also separating out which ones are wrapped in plastic will go a super far. Will go super far for you. See, this is nice. You're highlighting where like there's like metallic like attributes. But when you look at your gloss, they're not too separated out. So they don't really, I guess also in the presentation, you don't end up seeing a response from it because of that, right? Man, this would look really good in the Sketchfab viewer because it would cast some really nice shadows that move when you rotate. This is cool though. It's lacking that variation in your gloss map, or if you were doing metallic roughness, that would push it much further. So okay, next post was looks like it's your material posts. So with these, I feel like when we look at materials, at least for me, there's lots of scrolling when people post a lot of materials. There's not too many in here, but like for example, these two are very similar to each other. I would go for one or the other. For me, I would go for this one just because of the variation of stuff going on here. And then on the side, like show us your maps. Show us how you like what you're thinking about in the way the material is set up. And that'll go a long way as well for presentation. Oh my gosh, look at that squid. Glossy. Glossy. Oh, nice. Dude, mushrooms. And other assortments of things. So for me, the reason I like to see flats is because I also want to see how you're thinking about how you budget your resources. So like all of these are individual, right? But are they all like packed in a single texture map, or like what's going on with the way that, like, are these all individual? Because likely we would bundle all of these, like this one you would bundle together as one. Depends how you're using them and what the resolution is and all that stuff, but yeah. And when it comes to the roughness, like the mushrooms look really glossy, like those would be quite diffused. Even the squid maybe looks like it's not shiny enough. Like the roughness on the squid's not high enough. The shrimp looks pretty accurate to the roughness that I would expect on the squid. How much scrolling is too much scrolling? It depends on the person viewing. It depends on the person that's viewing the work, honestly. Yeah, I think that, so the squid looks like it's a bit of plastic, right? And I think if it was just a little bit more rough or less rough, it would look more accurate. But yeah, for me, I think if you're having to scroll like, like a full scroll on your mouse, if you're doing that like 5 times, it's too much to me. The material one I thought was going to be a lot because I started seeing this. So this was 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so 3 scrolls for me starts to sound like it's roughly the limit for myself. Let's look at some other stuff here. Oh, this is cool. So it looks like you propagated a bunch of the assets you made and made tileable materials out of it, which is really cool. It's lacking a lot of depth, and I think it just has to do with like when you bake this out, I would bake a height map and then I would displace this geometry with that height map and then like lower the geometry on it afterwards, like decimate it down a little bit, and you'll get a lot more like read on the materials. And then if you really want to, you can add like a few along the edge that are modeled and then a few on the ground just to kind of break up the look and feel. That way you get rid of this kind of flat surface feeling that you're getting here. And again, I'm not like, when I scroll, I'm not getting anything on this post. Maybe I'll get it in the next one. But oh yeah, see, there's a lot here. These look much better. Okay, maybe we should look around in this scene. Yeah, because those do look better. Almost expensive. Oh, this is great. Love this whole like storytelling on a surface. And I'm always a big fan of these. Now, when we look at, oh wow, man, this really turned into a large scene, didn't it? Oh, this is cool too. So your decals, yeah, you place a lot of decals everywhere to kind of like break up your surfaces, like up here. So right now, I guess my initial reaction is like, I guess I need to see references because I want to understand the material type of these walls. They're very similar to the ceiling, so everything's very boxy feeling, right? Whenever you have an opportunity to get away from this like gridded feel, you should take it, definitely. Like the fan is placed in a spot that feels strange for like how it connects, but if it was like in one of these like cross points, it makes it a little bit more believable. And maybe even taking that fan a little larger would help. Um, the other thing to point out maybe is like with the walls being so squared off, being able to put like something against the wall, like an AC unit or like what you're doing here, just to break these straight lines, because I can feel the room is just a box, or it feels like it's just a box. And you're getting a little bit of benefit with the tiles missing on the ceiling to see inside. I wouldn't do that too much just because it doesn't really, this doesn't look like a place that would have a lot of those missing, if that makes sense. Like, see, you have the fridge integrated into the wall, and I think instead of integrating into the wall, having it be against the wall gives you that variation where the wall is no longer a flat surface. But yeah, there's quite a bit of propping in here, and it's trying to figure out what we should be looking at. What's the entrance? Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, which is not a bad thing. Oh wow, those fans are serious. Seeing this in motion is definitely better. I think if the outside was to be darker, that would probably help with just getting us to focus here, right? Because like you can see in this shot, this is pretty bright, and it's trying to get us to look here and not here. Yeah, you're talking about the lights up here, Fatal. So I do see the cone here in the fog. You would want that to be a point light. Um, One thing you could do, if you need the directionality, is you could do 2 point, uh, like a 2 point light, where you have one light that's really wide angle shooting this way, and then you have one that's like a core, and then that core light you can control the strength that way. Because I'm assuming this is like this, so you don't get a big bright spot here. And so what you could do instead is like build this as a blueprint, have a light that points down, and then a cone, like a point light for like the rest, and then you can control those independently of each other. Yeah, so I feel like brightness wise, this would be toned down. It would probably be closer to this. Because right now it's extremely bright. This definitely looks better though, with the little meshes you added on top. This kind of looks like a scene I would see in one of those indie scary games that I always see like streamers like Hollow playing. Looks extra creepy. But you're growing for sure from your previous work. And it's just I think it's tuning your materials so that they sing to each other, but then also pushing your compositional breakup. Like right now I can see the corner to corner where the ceiling meets the walls. And if there's ways to break that up, we should be looking into those. Like in real life, how this meets the wall is always going to have like an edge that matches the kind of like the tile work, right? Because the tiles will be cut to match the like the metrics of the room. And then how fans are integrated into those ceilings, where wires happen, where the lights end up being. Like these lights are feel conveniently placed versus intentionally built in. Like if it's going to be there, maybe have like a wire running along the ceiling or something, right? Like what you're doing on the back wall here. This shot's really cool, and I think um, it's just not hitting as hard as it could be because the roughness information between all of the elements aren't in sync with each other, and they aren't like representing their own surfaces well enough. It's not it's not bad. It's just how do you turn it up like 5 more percent, 10 more percent, you know? And roughness, man, I say that all the time. Roughness is like top tier. That's where you get your gold. But yeah, this shot's really really nice. So yes, you should be proud of this scene. You've made a lot of growth, and I think if I were to suggest what you'd work on next, I would actually take that table. If you feel like just focusing on roughness, I would take this table and just push your materials in general. Like figure out, okay, why does this look the way that it looks? Because this doesn't look like glass with a light inside. Getting that surface to look right is going to be really important. And same with like how you use detail normals, because they should be on everything. What the roughness is of paper and how the normals should work on that. Like what's too dark and what's too light. I feel like the pencils there, those look too dark maybe. This looks like it might be okay. There's some really dark values here. And maybe it's just getting the ambient to be not as dark as well. It feels like it's almost being lit in a vacuum, if that makes sense, instead of like ambient lighting affecting everything. Yeah, it has a convenience store vibe to it. Hey, Popular Snowman, you can sign up here, um, but there's quite a bit of a queue. But we're always, I mean, we're always looking at portfolios, so it's just a matter of time. But yeah, that's a this is a dope portfolio. I would say focus on that little scene, maybe that table shot, and just push your materials, detail normals, roughness, just understanding the different types of materials and like that glass, for example, for the light. Hit those marks and try and turn that up. Get some feedback in the Discord, and like we can help you push your surfaces that much further. But yeah, thank you for posting your portfolio.